video we are going to cover the topic Ampere's circuital law. Right? Now here now see, we have studied the Biot-Savart's law and its application. Now what is Biot-Savart's law? Biot-Savart's law we are using to find the magnitude of the magnetic field around any arbitrary shaped wire carrying the current. Right? To find the magnetic field around the wire at any point, we can use the Biot-Savart's law that we have seen. Now here we are going to see the Ampere's circuital law. Now before going to the detail of the topic, let me remind you about the magnetic field, relation between the magnetic field and the current. Right? If we take a wire and current is passing through the wire, then what happens? The magnetic field is generated around that. Right? So here let us consider a closed loop, a wire, a circular wire over here that forms a closed loop. Till now we had seen what? We had seen that if we take a straight wire, right, and when current is passing through that, then the magnetic field is produced around that in the form of the circular loops that we have studied, right? And the direction of the magnetic field is taken by using the right hand thumb rule, that is taking the thumb in the direction of the current and this fingers points the direction of the magnetic field that we have seen. Now instead of taking this straight wire, now let us take the circular wire. This wire takes a circular form. It forms a closed loop, right? And current is passing through this. Now see, when current is passing through this wire, then it is but obvious that the magnetic field is going to be generated around it, right? The magnetic field is generated around that. Okay. So what will be this is the direction of the current. The current passes through this anti-clockwise, right, in this wire. Then what will be the direction of the magnetic field that is generated around this circular wire forming the closed loop, right? Over here also we are going to use the right hand thumb rule, right? Taking the right hand, right, and see like this. Curling this palm, right, pointing this fingers towards the direction of the current. So as you can see, the current is passing like this in the anti-clockwise direction. So curling the fingers in that direction. So it will be like this in anti-clockwise direction. Then the thumb shows the direction of the magnetic field. So I hope it is clear. You are taking the wire and forming it as the closed loop, right? And current is passing in the anti-clockwise direction. So using the right hand, take the fingers pointing towards the direction of the current, right? So as you can see, the direction is like this. Direction of the current is towards this. So I am taking the fingers towards that. So my fingers are curling like this as the direction is flowing like this. So where my thumb points, it points in the upward direction. So the magnetic field lines will also be in the upward direction. So for the wire which forms a closed loop, the magnetic field lines are generated around that, and the direction of the magnetic field is given by the right hand thumb rule. The fingers pointing the direction of the current and the thumb pointing the direction of the magnetic field. Okay. Now see. Now let us consider in general 4 wires through which the current is passing. current is in downward direction. I5 again it is in upward direction. I6 again it is in downward direction. Now see, when there are currents, right, around that current the magnetic field will be generated. So due to all these currents, magnetic field is generated around these currents, right? But over here we are going to consider a particular loop, right? A particular region. Let us consider this closed loop, right? So considering the closed loop as shown in the figure, enclosing the currents I1, I2, I3 and I4. Now see, magnetic field over here, we are going to consider the magnetic field over this closed loop only, right? So magnetic field, suppose we consider this point, right? So magnetic field over here will be due to all these 6 currents, right? So here if we consider the magnetic field, right? So to consider the magnetic field for this whole closed loop, first of all we are going to take the small elements, right? So if we consider only these small elements, right? If I consider this line element, then let us consider it as dl, right? For these small element, the current passing through this is I1, I2, I3 and I4. Then because of all these 4 currents, the magnetic field over here, that will be what? That will be B. If we consider the whole line integration, right, that will be the line integration B vector dot dl vector, because here we are going to consider for the small elements and then we are going to integrate the whole to get the product of the line integration of the magnetic field and this element. So these will be equal to the product of mu 0 summation I, right? This is nothing but the Ampere circuital law. So Ampere circuital law, it is actually what? The magnetic field in the line integration of the magnetic induction, the line integration of the magnetic induction over these closed loop, it is equal to the product of the algebraic sum of the current that is enclosed in this loop into the mu 0. Mu 0, that is what? Magnetic permeability. This is about the Ampere circuital law. Ampere circuital law states that the line integration of the magnetic induction over the closed loop is equal to the product of the summation of the currents that is enclosed in the loop into the magnetic permeability. So this gives the statement of the Ampere circuital law. The line integral of the magnetic induction over a closed loop is equal to the product of the algebraic sum of the currents enclosed in the loop and the magnetic permeability. So first of all students, write down this points, this equation, and on the basis of this equation you can write down the law. Then we will continue the equation, the derivation part. As you can see here, the integral d vector dot dl vector is equals to mu 0 summation I. As already said that the summation of the current, we need to consider only those current that is enclosed in the loop, right? And you can see over here that the direction of I1 and I2 is same, then that of the I3 and I4. I3 and I4 is opposite to that of I1 and I2. So the summation of current over here, I is equals to I1 plus I2 minus I3 minus I4, right? We are going to consider these as positive because if we take these as the direction of the magnetic field, then already said that magnetic field is in this direction, then current will be in the above direction, right? Using the right hand thumb rule. So the direction that is pointing towards the thumb, that is taken to be positive, and rest of that is taken as the negative. This one is taken as the negative. So over here I1 and I2 are positive and I3 and I4 are negative. Now let us consider a surface. And let this be the boundary of the surface. The current is passing through the surface. Okay. So the magnetic field for this will be in the anti-clockwise direction, right? This is the surface and through this surface current is passing. So consider this surface through which current is passing, as shown in figure. Now we are considering this boundary of the surface which is made up of number of line elements. Consider the boundary made up of number of line elements, right? And if we consider one such element, let one such element be dl. One such length of the line element be dl. Then according to the Ampere's circuital law, we can write the closed integral, that is this closed line integration B vector, we are going to take the magnetic field, that is the tangential component of the magnetic field, dot dl vector equals to mu 0 summation I. Right? We are applying the Ampere's orbital law. Here we are taking the tangential component of the magnetic field. Why we are going to take the tangential component and not the normal component? Because see, if it is tangential component, then the direction of this magnetic field and the length element will be same. That means if we take this dot product, if we resolve this dot product, it can be written as bt dl cos theta equals to mu 0 summation I. Right? Okay. Now theta, that is what? It is the angle between the tangential component of the magnetic field and this length element. Now see, these length element, suppose if we are taking this much of length, right? If it is in this direction, because it will always be in the direction of the current, right? If it is in this direction, then the tangential component of the magnetic field, that is from this, the tangent made, that will be the tangential component of the magnetic field. So, tangential component of the magnetic field and the element direction both are same. So, angle between these two will be 0 degree. So, I can write it as dt dl cos 0 degree equals to mu 0 summation I. Here the current enclosed by this, let us take it as IE. The total current, let us take it as IE. So this will be what? It will be dt dl equals to mu 0 IE. Now see, this dl is taken as the small element, but instead of the small element, here we are going to integrate what? We are going to integrate the small element, right, and its product with this length element, the magnetic field over here. So to get the whole line integration, we need to take the whole magnetic field over the line integration as well as the whole length. So considering these as simply V, and dl over here is taken as the length of this loop. Over here L is length of the loop, and because it is in the circular form, we can take it as 2 pi r, right? So this can be written as B L equals to mu 0 I E. So over here L is nothing but it is equals to 2 pi r. So we can write B 2 pi r equals to mu 0 I E. Taking 2 pi r over here, it can be written as B is equals to mu 0 I E upon 2 pi r. So this is nothing but the value of the magnetic field over the line integration, right, which is equals to mu 0 IE upon 2 pi r. Here IE is nothing but the total current that is enclosed by this surface. Now see, over here, as I said, that we are going to consider here the tangential component. Why we are considering tangential component? Because here we will be getting the value dt dot dl, that is dt dl cos 0 degree, right? So we will be getting dt dl. But if we are taking the normal component, right, this is the line element, but if we take the normal component of the magnetic field, that is like this, that is the line element and the magnetic field component will make 90 degree angle, and if it is 90 degree, cos 90 degree will be 0. So here the whole value will be 0. We are not going to get the value of the magnetic field in that case, right? So instead of taking the normal component, we are going to consider the tangential component of the magnetic field. So there are three possibilities. One is the tangential component, other is the normal component, and the other is the third one is that the magnetic field keeps on vanishing, right? So this is about the Ampere circuital law. So this is important, you may draw this figure, write down this one and this derivation. Here the Ampere circuital law involves the sign convention by the right hand thumb rule, right? The thumb shows the direction of the current and the curling of the finger, that the finger point towards the traverse of this boundary, right? That is the direction of the magnetic field. The second point is that the magnetic field at every point on this loop, it is tangential to the element, tangential to this circle, right? If we consider the magnetic field over here, then also it is tangential to this circle. If we consider magnetic field at this point, then also the magnetic field is tangential to this circle, right? So as I already said that we are going to consider the tangential component of the magnetic field. The magnetic field is tangential at every point to the circle, right? Another thing, if we are going to consider the infinite wire, right, through which the current is passing, then also the magnetic field over here it remains constant, right? And the value of the magnetic field is also it will be having some finite value. The value will not be infinite. Why? Let us see over here. If we consider this, right, an infinite wire, right, through which the current is passing, and if we are going to consider the magnetic field on the circular loop, then around that the value of the magnetic field will be same. Why? Because the distance from this wire to this point on the circle will be same. So the value of the magnetic field will remain same. Another important thing is that the current that is passing through the wire is the steady current. That means what? The current should be steady. The constant value of current should be passing through the wire, right? So it applies when the steady current goes through the wire, and the value of the magnetic field will remain same, will be having same value around this wire. That is why we had seen the Oersted experiment that when we take the wire and when we sprinkle the iron fillings, it will be forming the concentric circles. That is, the magnetic field lines are formed in the circular loop, and through that circle, through a single circle, the magnetic field value remains same. If we consider this circle, then throughout this circle, the value of the magnetic field remains same. So this is about the points for the Ampere circuital law, where the direction is mentioned by the right hand rule, and the magnetic field in that circle that remains constant, right? And even if the wire is of infinite length, we will be getting the finite value of the magnetic field depending on the distance between the point where we need to find the magnetic field and the current element.